Hello, I'm Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, you planned for retirement, but it unexpectedly arrived early. We'll invest in timely investment advice. Then, is it painful to pee? You may be on track for a urinary infection. We'll prescribe help and healing. What's it like moving to a retirement community? We'll rely on the reviews of a recent resident for an all-inclusive answer. Plus, you're unemployed and Medicare is still many months away. We'll uncover how to cover your health care coverage. And stay tuned for the latest legal news.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Early retirement sounds like a dream, but it can turn into a nightmare if it comes unexpectedly by way of a job loss. Mark Niederhelman is here with ways to retool your retirement planning if you become unemployed a little too early. Mark's a financial advisor with the Lineweaver Financial Group. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Glad to be here, Armin.
So this situation, it's more common than we'd like, but you have several steps that we should take if this happens. What's step one?
Well, step one is if you have any kind of an inkling that there's going to be a downsizing or a possible termination, start retooling your finances right away.
Okay.
If in fact you do have the rug pulled out from underneath you, you need to take inventory of your sources of income and your financial assets right away so that you can compare your living expenses to your sources of income to find out whether it's necessary to either reduce your living expenses or extend your career. Now, if you're under age 65, you're not eligible for Medicare, so you're going to have to make sure that you have some kind of health care insurance. It's going to be expensive, but it's absolutely necessary. You're going to want to look at options that you have available through your former employer, through COBRA, possibly through a spouse's employer's plan, or shop out individual insurance on your own. If you're shopping it out individually, you might want to take a look at getting a high deductible plan that reduces the monthly cost.
All right, so after we do this initial review, what's next?
Well, I think you're going to want to revise your previous retirement plans. You might have been planning on retiring at age 65 or 70 and spending down your retirement assets at a pace of 4 to 5% a year. Now that you retired earlier, you might want to reduce that spending plan so that your retirement assets can stretch out over a longer period of retirement.
Will Social Security help us out here?
It will, but you need to understand that if you take Social Security at an earlier age, and you can start Social Security at age 62, your monthly benefit's going to be reduced. So a lot of people look at tapping into other assets, savings and things like that, and spending those assets and delaying Social Security so that they can have a larger benefit for the balance of their life.
When we evaluate our whole situation, should we be considering taking a job even for on a temporary basis?
A job might be the only alternative for a lot of people. Unfortunately, the job market is very difficult, especially for older workers today. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is reporting that it's taking older workers, those workers age 55 and older, about 3 months longer to find a job than it is for the typical younger worker. But a job can make a big difference in your finances. Even a part-time job working 20 hours a week, generating approximately $10,000 to $15,000 a year can have a significant big difference.
All right, so it sounds like we may also have to take a really hard look at our budget, what we plan to spend, what we have as income.
Budget is extremely important. You want to make sure that you're living within your means. If you decide to not go back to work or you can't go back to work, you have to live within your means. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot just pile up credit card debt. So you might want to alter your lifestyle, get rid of the second car. If you have the ability to move into an area where the cost of living is lower, that can significantly impact your financial future.
Can a financial advisor, we usually think of financial advisors as people who invest our money. Can they help us with taking a look at the budget and figuring out where we make cuts to?
No doubt about it. Coming up with a budget is very difficult for a lot of people, especially if they have not done it previously. So
very tough.
Financial advice can be very important at this stage of the game.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that very much.
Glad to be here.
The bottom line of an unexpected early retirement is your bottom line. Follow Mark's advice for managing your money so your retirement can still be a welcome arrival. And for more help, give Mark a call. His number's up next.
For more information, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or log on to www.lineweaver.net. Next, what to do when you want to stop going. But first, attention sports fans. In 1921, a fight to the finish knocked out almost any other news in the New York Times. Will its title ring a bell? We'll weigh in with the answer when we return.
I know the devastating effects that back pain can have not just on you, but your entire family. Instead of covering up your pain with drugs or surgery, we offer a procedure called non-surgical decompression. Decompression increases spinal disc space and it draws nutrients back into the disc. This allows healing to take place from the inside out. So if you're suffering with chronic pain, there is hope. I invite you to call our office to see if this proven treatment option can mean freedom from your pain.
In one edition of the New York Times, the first 13 pages issued information only about a big-time boxing battle, except for a small space featuring the formal end of World War I. The winner of this fight for first place in the news race? The July 2nd, 1921 heavyweight championship between Jack Dempsey and George Carpenter, where Dempsey knocked out his competition in the 4th round and on the front page.
If your bathroom breaks are punctuated by pain, you may be experiencing a urinary infection. Well, today, you're in luck. That's a bad one. Dr. Sarah Kane is here to help your flow go. Dr. Kane is with the Center for Advanced Gynecology at Metro Health. Thanks for joining us, Doctor. Please apologize for my pun there. Do urinary tract infections become more frequent as we get older?
Urinary tract infections, or UTIs, or bladder infections as they're called, do become more frequent as you get older for both men and women. For women, sometimes it's the changes that happen after menopause and the change in the pH balance of the urinary tract. And for men, sometimes the enlarging prostate can help to prevent them from emptying all the way and make it more difficult to go.
And the symptom, as I understand it, is pretty obvious. It's a burning sensation when they go to the bathroom?
A burning sensation can be a symptom, but as we get older, sometimes the symptoms change and can be more vague. Just an increase in the frequency of times you go to the bathroom, a pressure or a dull sort of pain instead of the sharp burning.
Oh. So can we prevent ourselves from getting this infection? I don't know, cranberry juice, if we drink cranberry, does that avoid the infection?
Cranberry juice tastes good, but the data on whether it really works to prevent bladder infections is mixed. And for some people, if you have kidney stones or a sensitive bladder, then the cranberry juice can make your symptoms worse. So if you like cranberry juice, you can drink it, but mainly staying well hydrated with water, keeping yourself clean, but avoiding tub baths and just taking showers, using white cotton underpants. Those kind of things can help to prevent infections better.
If we are starting to feel like maybe there's an infection there, we're having a little bit of discomfort or pain, is there any problem with delaying seeing someone and getting treatment?
Well, you know your body best, and for people who have had infections in the past and they feel like it's an infection coming on, then often they have a communication with their doctor and say, hey, I think I might need an antibiotic. Antibiotics are the best treatment for an infection. Like I said, staying hydrated or drinking the cranberry juice might help with the symptoms, but you really shouldn't delay if it's a change for you.
If we do delay, can we make matters worse?
Potentially. I mean, the risk is if you get an infection in your bladder that it could go up and you could end up with a kidney infection, which can be life-threatening. But That's rare. Most people don't get kidney infections, but it is a good idea with any new symptoms to talk to your doctor.
And you mentioned antibiotics. Are there over-the-counter medications that we can get ourselves, or is antibiotics really the
It usually needs
way?
to be an antibiotic that would be prescribed by your doctor. Some of the over-the-counter supplements are similar to the cranberry juice. They may not have the best effect, and they may not be the quickest thing to get rid of your symptoms.
What if we seem to be coming down with these infections more often? Once in a while is one thing. If we're starting to get these regularly,
well, we worry about infections. If you get more than 3 infections in a year, then we have to start looking at other reasons that you might be prone to infection. For men, again, it could be the enlarged prostate, or for women, if the bladder is prolapsed and your bladder's not emptying well, then those are things that your doctor should look for.
and then we have to treat differently, because then it's not just treating the infection, it's treating another problem.
Right. Then hopefully you treat the cause to prevent the infections.
Doctor, thank you very much. Very good information, and I know this is a big topic these days. Thank you. Have a urinary tract infection? Get on track for a cure. And if you're not sure, follow Dr. Kane's advice and see your physician, and see him or her now. My thanks to Dr. Kane for joining us today.
Find out more by calling Metro Health at 216-778-7800 or visit www.metrohealth.org. Want more Metro Health medical information? Be sure to tune in to WTAM 1100 Radio each Saturday morning at 7 for Metro Health and You, hosted by Dr. Christine Alexander. Next, moving on up. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. August 30th through September 2nd, enjoy Northeastern Ohio's best end-of-summer party, the Cleveland Labor Day Oktoberfest, held on the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds. You'll find great ethnic foods, music ranging from traditional German to disco and rock and more. To find out more about what's brewing, email info@clevelandoktoberfest.com.
Remember being the new kid in school? You wondered, when will I make new friends and who will I eat lunch with? That anxious feeling can come up anytime we move, whether we're 7 or 70. So when you are the new kid on the block in a retirement community, how long will it take you for you to love your new lifestyle, make friends, and get used to the new environment? David Schell and Laura Oster from Breckenridge Village Retirement Community are just being neighborly and came to visit with us to share helpful hints. David's the executive director of Breckenridge. Laura's a resident there. Thank you for joining us both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Armin.
David, what are some of the biggest benefits of moving to a retirement community?
Well, getting settled, not having to worry about the future, and just knowing that there's a safety net if it's needed. And now we're starting to see the first of the baby boomers starting to think about retirement living and what that means.
And is there an age people should be looking at
Well,
this?
we always say that the sooner the better, and that can be for whatever need. And many times we start to see people thinking about the retirement community, latter 60s, early 70s, but many times there's a lot of folks that make the choice a little bit sooner.
And I would think that along the topic we're talking about, the sooner you do it, the more healthy you are, the easier it is to start to meet people, make friends, and get used to the place.
Absolutely.
Laura, let's talk to you for a minute. How long have you lived at Breckenridge, and what made you decide to move in?
It's just been a little over 3 months right now.
Yeah?
I'll have to say this was probably a thought I hadn't been thinking about in my life at all, but I do have a health issue, and over the past 10 years, it's changed a little bit, and it's caused me great concern about how might I deal with my future as this continues to change. So I had an opportunity to look into Breckenridge Village and all that it had to offer, and the fact that I can start off very independent right now is my start. But if my concerns need to be met, I'm finding out there are steps of the way that I can do right at Breckenridge Village, and I decided this
So
is
has your
an
life
option.
changed much since you've moved in now?
The fact that I've no longer worked, I've taken a retirement, I am doing plenty there. There is so much to offer. It's a matter of what do you want to do each day, and it's a wonderful feeling to pick and choose.
All right, in 3 months, have you been able to make any new friends yet?
Oh, so many.
Really?
So many. I feel very fortunate that all these people are out there for me to associate with, to interact with, and I feel like I'm really ahead of the game for anybody looking into this.
Do you meet them at meals? Do you meet them at activities? How do you meet people?
Everything. I have done some volunteering already, which is causing me to meet people in the area of the campus I would maybe not have gone. I like to participate in things, and maybe if I can't participate, I want to help. So I'm out there finding ways to just interact, and it has been wonderful.
Have you been able to keep your old friends that you had before you moved in as well?
I can, but it seems like all of these people are good enough friends and they're right there around me, so I can do both.
David, are we seeing a trend about people moving to retirement communities sooner than usual, sooner than before?
Well, there's 78 million baby boomers, and already folks are starting to think about it, and Annette and I talk about it. I've been the director there for 25 years, and you look in the mirror, and I look at Laura and other folks, and I think, boy, it's something that probably we're going to do.
So, Laura, last question for you. For people who, may be thinking a little bit about making a move, what kind of advice would you have for them?
Seriously consider it. I'm doing this very early, but I think it's going to ease the stresses that may come up later on in life, and it'll give you an opportunity to just enjoy what's out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you too, David.
Thanks,
Good to
Armin.
see you again. Follow Dave and Laura's advice to make yourself right at home when you make the move to a retirement community. And for more help, use the information that's coming up next.
To find out more, call Breckenridge Village at 440-954-8359 or visit their website, www.breckenridgeohio.org. Next, between jobs and healthcare coverage. It's time to get up and go, an exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we're here to show you how to stretch the ever-important hamstrings in the back of the leg. These muscles are very important because not only do they help us get around, but they help us get up and down stairs. You ready to show them how to stretch them out?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. We're going to start seated on the ground. Here in the studio we have our mats. You at home, any firm surface you feel comfortable sitting on will do. We want to make sure we maintain good posture and have our feet out in front of us. All we're going to do is try to keep the backs of our legs on the ground as we lean and try to grab our toes. So feel a good little stretch. We're going to hold it for a 5 to 10 count, and then we're going to go ahead and relax. Let's try it one more time there, see if we can get a little bit further. How you doing, Armand?
My arms are too short.
Good job. Keep practicing. Get out there, keep the back straight. You're doing fine. We're looking for 5 to 10 seconds. Hey, we're looking for 5 to 10 seconds. 2 or 3 times will get you nice and warmed up. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
Earlier in the show, we spoke about how losing your job close to retirement affects your investment income strategy. But the health of your health insurance is at risk as well. Trish DeCenzi's here with options for holding on to your insurance. Trish is Vice President and Assistant General Counsel for Medical Mutual of Ohio. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So in January, we start with the Obamacare guaranteed insurance, but this year, in the meantime, if we lose our job, we lose our health insurance too, and that's a problem, right?
It is, and you can lose your health insurance the same day you lose your job.
So is there anything out there to help us?
There is. The first thing you should do is talk to your employer about something called COBRA. COBRA is a federal law that allows people to continue health insurance for a period of time, and it applies to any employer with more than 20 employees.
And for less than 20 employees, there's a
state law.
COBRA?
Yeah, the state law is called mini COBRA, and it covers you for 12 months if you lose your job.
All right. So let's talk about COBRA. Does it start automatically if we lose our job? Do we automatically get this benefit?
No, you're entitled to it, but your employer has to notify you of it, and then you have to take steps to elect COBRA. You have to enroll in it and pay the premium for it.
Should our former employer be helping us with that? Who helps?
Well, you're on your own for the premium, unfortunately. Okay. And that's the bad thing about COBRA. It can be very expensive because most people are used to having their employer pay a good portion of the health insurance premium while they're employed. So when you get like COBRA, you're paying your portion plus your employer's portion plus a 2% administrative fee. So
it'll be pretty expensive, but at least you can get insurance at least for the next number of months until Obamacare kicks in.
Exactly.
All right. And what if we get laid off? our minds may be on some other things, like how we're going to pay for food. So let's say we don't sign up immediately for COBRA. Can we sign up late, a month later, 2 months later?
You have about 60 days to decide whether you're going to elect COBRA, but if you wait longer than 60 days, you won't be able to elect it. So you do need to make that decision without waiting too long.
Let's say we find a new job after we're laid off, and that job does offer health insurance. If we have a pre-existing condition under the current law, does that prevent us from going on our new company's health insurance?
It doesn't.
Does not?
It does not. In 1996, the federal government passed HIPAA, and that's the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And HIPAA allows people to enroll in an employer group health plan without any pre-existing conditions, exclusions, if you have not had a significant break in coverage. So you have to make sure that you don't go without coverage for more than 63 days.
And that's even under the old law, under the current law, before we get to Obamacare. So you do have a right, if you go to a new job, to get the health insurance if it's offered by your employer.
Right. There are protections there.
All right. What if we bought our own insurance? Is that ever advisable?
Sure. Now the first thing you should do is look into what's called special enrollment. So while you're deciding whether to elect COBRA, you should look at your spouse's plan and see if he or she's employed. You can enroll in that plan in what's called a special enrollment period. You have only 30 days though, but both you and your spouse can enroll in that coverage. You don't have to wait till open enrollment.
I see. Okay. And what if this special enrollment in the spouse's plan is not available?
Well, then you want to look at maybe buying in your own individual policy. But unfortunately, in this period of time, in this day and age, you have to be healthy to get that individual policy. And so it's usually cheaper than COBRA, but of course you've got that risk of being insurable.
Gotcha. And that leads us then to January, when insurability goes away under the Obamacare Act.
Right. This whole situation changes in the next 6 months. And in 2014, one of the benefits of the law, particularly for older people, is that you can purchase coverage without any pre-existing condition exclusions, no matter what. And there are restrictions on how carriers can rate based on age. And so for older people, the premiums might actually be more affordable than they are today.
Well, it's great to have you and Medical Mutual right in town here to give our audience this great information. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
COBRA, HIPAA, this alphabet soup of options for health insurance actually could spell out help for you and your family. You need health insurance. You can't go without. To learn more about your options this year, before Obamacare guarantees insurance availability next year, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Trish DeCenzi for spelling things out for us today.
Learn more about Medical Mutual of Ohio by visiting their website, www.medmutual.com. Next, the latest legal news for you.
Sometimes it's about beating the clock. Sometimes it's about beating fate. And sometimes it's about beating the unimaginable. But there's one opponent our team loves to beat more than any other. We love beating the odds. We are the Metro Health System. We are the proud sponsor of the comeback.
Did you miss a phone number or a website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all that information again. Then we'll be back to tell you how a simple mistake could cost you a fortune. people make mistakes. That's part of being human. But when the person making the mistake works for Social Security, that error could cause you a lot of anguish and cost you some money. Here with his diagnosis of this disorder, my headache-relieving law partner, Mike Solomon's here to join us. Thank you.
Hi, Herman.
So people who work for Social Security, they can make mistakes.
Yeah, well, anyone can make mistakes. Social Security is a very well-run program and very rarely makes a mistake, but once in a while it happens, and if it happens, it can be a huge problem.
So can you give us an example?
Well, there was in the ARP bulletin recently, someone received their Medicare card, and it showed their birthday as March 20th when it was really March 2nd, and that caused them a lot of problems going forward.
What happened?
Well, for example, they went to the pharmacy to get a prescription filled, and they presented their Medicare card, but because the date was wrong, they didn't qualify for a prescription. They had to come out of pocket, like $150. It could have been worse. If they had had any hospital needs, they might have been denied coverage for a benefit. So that person then went ahead and went to Social Security, took their birth certificate, and said, hey, you made a mistake. And Social Security said, we'll put it under advisement. Mm-hmm. Then he gets a letter in the mail saying, sorry, we can't make the change. Just use the wrong date.
Did he give up?
Well, no, this person didn't give up. They went to a local news station and made a big deal about it and went on the news, and then Social Security changed it the way it was supposed to be.
So it worked out.
Right, right.
A little more hassle than it should have been.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate the information. The moral of Michael's story is don't give in or give up. People who work in the government, they do make unintentional mistakes. But if you're harmed by a government error, don't give up. You can fight City Hall, and you can win.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for joining us today. On next week's show, Clearing Out Clutter's a messy job. We'll help you hand it off. Then the painful truth is arthritis hurts. We'll offer help. If you're a caregiver, you know about stress. We'll share ways to make your stress less. And we'll open wide with information for a super smile. Until next week, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.